G'day fellas. Probably time I did a build update for you. So here's where it is. It now has blinky lights. There's all kinds of progress. So here's a bit of a tour as to what's built so far. So what you're looking at here is the main body of the drone, at least the frame of it. There'll be a skin obviously that goes around the outside of it. I'm just working towards actually making this thing fly at the moment, so I'm not going to do like landing gear and fancy things like that. I'm just going to belly land the thing until I actually fly the thing. So let's have a little tour of what's here. So sitting in the center here we have a flight controller board. So that is the brains of the operation. Lots of wires coming and going from there. Sitting just to the front we have this is where the servo block will connect. So all the controls coming in and out for the main flight controls at least go through that. Moving to the front, this is running off of a GPS compass. It's positioned up the front because firstly I ran out of space, and secondly it's further from the forms of interference that mess with it, such as motors and things if you put it over there. In the middle, this is basically the battery bay. This has room for 2 of these batteries just, I think. There's a little bit of wiring tidy up to do to figure that out if that'll work or not. Sitting on the back here, this is going to be the basically the telemetry and also the secondary control for things like flaps and gear and things that I ran out of control outputs from this thing. So this was originally meant to be 2 microcontrollers, and I had a bit of a bump is that this is working right now. This is working over telemetry, and we are sitting, with our, we can move it around. So that's pretty cool. So that's working over telemetry now, which is neat. So this thing is running the telemetry, but it's not running any secondary control at the moment. That was meant to be a secondary controller, but of all things, I ran out of pins on the main board. There's always just one thing that doesn't quite work with these things, and this seems to be the one. So yes, you can see spare pins along here, but some of these are conflicted by other things that I've connected to, and I've only just worked that out. So I'm now going to try and consolidate all the control onto here, which should be totally doable, but apparently it's much harder to make that work alongside the telemetry stuff from just making it work perspective. So I was hoping to keep it separate because it was going to be cleaner from a setup perspective. Alright, so moving down into the lower extremities, where have we got? So buzzer, radio controlled receiver. Underneath we have our, let's pitch it over here for a minute. These are our BECs, so these are both taking battery voltage, which is about 12 volts, and stepping it down to 5 volts. So one of these is primary and the other is secondary. This is the primary one. So these are coming off the battery. This is basically providing all the power to the flight controller and the main flight control servos and navigation gear. The other one, which is actually the higher capacity of the 2, is going to be providing all the power necessary to control all the peripheral stuff that I'll eventually add to this thing. So gear motors and flaps and any kind of video. There'll be a video go in the nose here at some point, and the transmitter for that will go in the back here somewhere. So all of that sucks up, especially the video, sucks up quite a lot of power. So that will all be powered off of this secondary bit at the back. And the next sort of stages from here, I need to finish working out this control thing for this. You can see I've got it on the breadboard for prototyping purposes. So once I work through that side of things, we'll be ready to do a bit more wiring and sort of see how we get on. There's a couple of other features built in which you can't quite see down the back. Just if I flip it over the other way. So some of the wiring running through this section here is basically bus wiring. So you'll see that I've got some connectors to take off additional power, so I can plug into that bus with additional things as we go on over time. And then from there, I've just got to work out how to get all the power down to the back. So we'll be running quite a bit of stuff down through the center of this tube, which will come out to the back. And looks a bit like, hang on, looks a bit like this thing. That's the hub at the back where the elevons will connect. So obviously on a big aluminium tube, motor goes on the back down here, elevon there. I've got this sort of void fin at the bottom, which is intended to be for the ESC at the back, because it gets kind of hot and I wanted to keep that away from anything structural. There'll be a new version of this that has vents and things in it at some stage. Yeah, so anyway, that's the build progress at the moment, and so starting to slowly draw nearer to actually flying the damn thing. So all I've got to really do, this would fly now if it just had skin and I didn't care about things like telemetry, so I would just need to plug it into all of its various parts. So you know, it's starting to get there. Anyway, hope that's interesting.